policy.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Fresh Focusing Resources on Effective School Health webinar. My name is Sung Lee. I'm the Director for School Health and Nutrition at Save the Children. We are about to start the webinar, and I just want to introduce you to the webinar and the FRESH Network. So the FRESH Network is a set of organizations that are committed to quality school health and nutrition. And each month, except for December and January, we host a webinar and have guest speakers sharing information about programming and new tools and resources that are relevant to the work we're doing globally on school health and nutrition. Today we have a great set of speakers. We are focusing on food, meals, and how that affects school health and nutrition and learning. And if you guys are just joining, I just got some feedback. If you could put yourself on mute, unless it's your turn to speak, it will be helpful. And if you're online, we do have the Skype for Business messaging open. So if you have issues with technology or whatever, please type it in and we'll try to address that. If you're just calling in, scream out, there's an issue, and hopefully we can hear you. It's not a problem with audio. All right, so this morning we do have three speakers. We have Ingrid, who's the branch chief for McGovern Dole programs from USDA. She'll start us off with a little introduction about McGovern Dole, otherwise known as Food for Education programming, the purpose of it, and a little bit about USDA. And then we have the pleasure of having Roberto Cabrera, who's been with Save the Children for over 4 years, but before that he's been with several organizations, working with, let's see, Action Against Hunger, World Food Program, UNICEF, Project Concern, many different projects where he's been working with school meal projects, and he'll be talking a little bit about the Guatemala National Feeding Program, and it will be followed by Fidel, who also has a experience in many different projects, including the world and organizations, including World Bank and PAHO, UNDP, and USAID in Guatemala. He will be speaking about the Food for Education project in Guatemala called IDEA, which will be explained by him what it is. And then our goal is to have about 10 to 20 minutes at the end to get some questions and provide some responses. So with those introductions, we're going to start off with Ingrid.
Yes, thank you, Sung. Good morning, everyone, from a sunny but very cold USDA South building in Washington, D.C. Thank you to the Fresh Network and Working Group for highlighting our wonderful program, especially for today, the one implemented by Save the Children in Guatemala. I'll start off with a bit of a background of the McGovern Dole International Food for Education and Child Nutrition Program. It's a long name, but a bit of a history. It's named after two former U.S. Senators, George McGovern and Bob Dole. And both McGovern and Dole witnessed the terrible child hunger of Europe during World War II. And so feeding programs became a very priority for our foreign policy. This teamwork led then to the creation of the McGovern Dole program, and which was then authorized by the Farm Security and Rural Investment Act of 2002. Since then, we've worked in over 40 countries, and it's really to help support education, child development, and food security for some of the world's poorest children. It provides donations of U.S. agriculture products as well as financial assistance for school feeding and maternal and child nutrition projects. I'm very proud to hear that the program in Guatemala implemented by Save the Children is going to be highlighted today because Guatemala, we've been active in Guatemala since 2003 and invested over $190 million. Currently, our active portfolio across the globe spans a total of $900 million, and in Guatemala alone, our active programs are valued about $19 million. So it's about 11%. So a big investment in an important country for USDA. And we're very, very delighted to hear that IDEA is going to be highlighted today. The key objective for the McGovern Dole are twofold. The two strategic objectives are: one is to improve literacy of school-age children, and two, increase the use of health and dietetic practices. But it's not only these two objectives that we like to focus on. It's trying to do a holistic approach of ensuring that we have effective school meals program in these countries. And so we can also support complementary activities such as deworming and libraries and construction of classrooms, latrines, kitchens, wells, hand washing stations, take-home rations. Anything that we find that is a need in the school and in the context of the country, will support. I see that there is a link in the Schools and Health Nutrition website. So I would encourage everyone to click on the link that would lead you to the FAS website, where you can find all sorts of information about all the programs we're implementing on the McGovern Dole program. And I think that's sort of a bit of a background. If you have any questions, I'll be available until the end. Sean?
Thank you, Ingrid. That was really useful. And I think, as you mentioned, there's resources that you can find at the end of the email and also at the website, Schools and Health. We'll go, as Ingrid said, we'll take questions at the end of the session, so we'll go right into Roberto.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, so go ahead, Roberto.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to share some of the actions, activities, and programs that we are delivering here in Guatemala. I'll speak before on this umbrella work that we do with the Minister of Education and some other actors regarding this national school feeding program. As an international actor, for us in Save the Children, it's very important to have our programs aligned with what the state is carrying on in the country. So for this purpose, the IDEA program that is going to be presented by Fidel is a part of this national school feeding program of the Ministry of Education. That's why you see this presentation. Oops, Alicia, something's happening with the presentation. Can you?
Yep, I'm reloading it right now. As soon as it gets loaded, click on Tomar el Control.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see it now? To switch slides, Roberto, you have to click on the arrow going to the right-hand side.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, as I was mentioning, this program is under the Education Ministry of Education plan, strategic plan of education from 2016-2020, and it also is within the national strategy for the prevention of chronic malnutrition. This the strategic plan has three axes which we are contributing directly. One is to increase coverage. Second is to provide some quality, equity, and inclusion in the schools, and have decent and healthy spaces for learning. It's also within the national strategy for prevention of chronic malnutrition, through trying to provide some tools for parents on behavior change regarding nutrition. We have been in a process in the country of having only meals at the schools just as a part of a support program. But now this effort from this strategy is moving from just being a support program to a program based on the framework of the human rights to food and nutrition. That is giving us the opportunity to reinforce the duty bearer capacities to deliver not just a meal or a snack, but also to think beyond and say we need a set of integral and sustainable actions with shared responsibility with different actors. That's why we are working with the Minister of Education, but also we are working with the Minister of Health, and the Minister of Agriculture, and local municipalities to take over this program. And at national level, we also engage with national stakeholders and international cooperation as well. What is the National School Feeding Program? It's a set of multi-sectoral and integral actions that contribute to school access, permanence, and promotions through sustainable and relevant actions to have a decent and healthy environments based on community participation and local socioeconomic development. All these components are very important, not just to have meals for children, but also to have this as a sustainable and relevant actions through different actions on advocacy at different levels, and to make this a conscious process to deliver not only academic contents, but also to have decent and healthy environments and to involve the whole community in this process. Our general objective is to ensure the human right to food and nutrition of school children through National School Feeding Program based on a food security and nutrition approach and socio-cultural and linguistic relevance. This is very important since, as you may know, Guatemala has the highest chronic malnutrition prevalence in the region, in America, and the fourth in the world. So this is a very huge problem in public health as well. So we need to have interventions at different levels. We know that at school children have already the problem, but we are intending to cut this vicious cycle, working with school children as well, and taking the opportunity to get involved also parents and teachers and the whole community to be involved in new ways to have better nutrition practices. The components of the National School Feeding Program are nutritional quality, food and nutrition education, healthy environments, and citizen participation. This is very important, and it is not done just by a silos approach, but also to have this intersectoral coordination and to have also a close follow-up and monitoring and evaluation process to see how it is being delivered and how we can learn much more and more and share these learnings to the Minister of Health, of Education at local level, but also at national level. Regarding nutritional quality, the national program has some general guidelines on the nutritional quality of school food. This is quite difficult sometimes because since before all they were required was to buy any food available at the stores, because they couldn't buy local food or nutritional food that they could get in the communities, but they had to buy it or to get it delivered by the Minister of Education, who didn't pay much attention on the nutritional value of different food. Now they have the general guidelines to check for nutritional quality of school food. We also the program also deals with menus according to social, cultural, and linguistic context. As you may know, corn is the base and the main food, but it doesn't have the proteins and micronutrients that are needed for a good nutrition and healthy status. Our common works, our common knowledge on micronutrients like iron are also very limited to some foods. So we try to provide not only local acceptable food, but also we do research on local communities to see what are the nutritional foods that can be bought or can be provided at local level. We also try to link the local economy and family farming. So some work that we do with the community, we try to teach some ways of producing at local level nutritional food that can be provided to the school feeding program. And this program is based on a provision for every school, but to have this provision from the central government, the schools must have an organizations of parents who get this money and who are dealing with local stores, shops, or people who are growing local foods to buy them, but it's compulsory for each school to have this kind of organization. That's also very important, but it gives the responsibility to parents to be aware of what their children are getting at school. We do the program is aiming.
Roberto, just 1 second. We're getting some feedback. If you're on, can you please, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself. We're getting some feedback. So thank you. Go ahead, Roberto. I think that's better.
As I say, food and nutrition education is very important. It's one of the main components, and this is deals with capacity building for the educational community. That means parents, teachers, students, and also the local leaders and the community as a whole. We also, the program also deals with having school gardens to start from the very early age for children to see how they can grow nutritional, how can they grow nutritional food, and how they can see that it's not that much that it's needed, but it's also a way of getting conscious of because they can do some things to get a better nutritional status just for taking care of a garden. And we also, and this is very hard sometimes, to promotion a healthy food consumption. Most of food that is sold in shops nearby the schools are these foods with no nutritional value. So in the schools they are also taught what are the food that they should buy and what the food that they should get in order to have a good nutrition. They also have communities of learning in food security and nutrition. This is done by the National Food Chronic Malnutrition Prevention Strategy that is dealing also with parents and with change of behavior. Mostly done by the Minister of Health and the Minister of Education staff. And we also encourage children to have a physical activity as a daily, on regular basis. But we have to say also that many children have to walk a distance from some meters to almost sometimes to 2 miles to get to schools. So they have a lot of physical activity as a normal thing that they do every day. Health environments, we also the program also deals with timely access to safe water, basic sanitation, school infrastructure, kitchen utensils, proper waste management, and values and violence prevention. Since we are dealing with quality learning environments, these are 6 components that we in the program see as key interventions that have to be cared for, because sometimes rural communities have a lot of problems having safe water, the basic sanitation, and some school infrastructure are still poor. As somebody is asking about what those pedagogical school gardens mean, is those school gardens that grow nutritional food, and they are taught by either teachers and parents or some staff coming from the Minister of Agriculture.
Roberto, there are other questions. I'd like us to actually have you finish your presentation in about 5 minutes, and then we'll have Fidel do his presentation, and we'll try to get all other questions at the end of the session.
Okay, Alicia. And then the citizen participation that is very important, as I mentioned before. And this is dealing with involving community leaders in being part of community organization, so they can get together and decide how to select, purchase, and do the preparation and distribution of food throughout every month. What are the menus expected to be? What is the nutritional provision that they are doing through this school feeding program, and also how they can manage to do some community-based projects that can enhance the quality of food that they are providing to their kids. They also are key actors to do social audit, since Guatemala has been in the last 2 years awakening from a corruption state, a corrupted state. Many people have taken this task of doing social audit, which we find to be very important at community level. And also the intersectoral coordination is important. As I mentioned, from community level, where we have different community-based organizations like COCODE and COCOSAN, which means the Community Councils for Development and Community Councils for Food Security and Nutrition. Participation in community assemblies, not only from these entities I have just mentioned, but also the community as a whole. As I mentioned, also the participation in the selection, purchase, and preparation and distribution of food. All this is made from local decisions, from local leaders, from parents, mostly mothers who are dealing every day with education trainings on nutrition, and also how they can propose community-based projects. The COCODE, this Community Council for Development, are in charge of taking these projects at community levels and put it at the municipal level, this proposal, so the municipality had the chance to fund this project. And they also share the social audit, as I was mentioning. We have in the program evaluation and monitoring. This is regarding on nutritional surveillance system, technical and administrative support, monitoring process of the whole intervention of the different actors. They are also dealing with periodic evaluation on the results of the nutritional implementation. Sometimes they are dealing with scientific studies, and also because of the social audits that are done by local community at the municipality level as well, they are trying to develop more and more transparency mechanisms. The coverage of the program, this is the Guatemala map. You can see that they have 4 prioritized departments, which are in green, in dark green, and some these dark green are the phase 1, which is those are the areas where we have the highest prevalence of chronic malnutrition. And in this second phase, the light green are those who are coming in the coming years. The interventions in 2017 are 6. One is professionals who will support the implementation of the national school feeding, weight and height baseline in prioritized municipalities, fund transfers for purchase of school tableware. Oops. I have a problem with the presentation, Alicia.
Roberto, if you want, we can try to take over and move the slides for you.
Okay.
And by the way, you have 0 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay. I'm almost done.
Okay. Do you want us to move the slides for you?
Pardon?
Do you want us to take over?
Please move to the coming one.
Okay. I already have it. Okay. Wait, the next one?
The next, yes, that one. So the coordination with 2 entities in the Ministry of Education are DIGEFOCE and DDE. They deal with food security and nutrition, and they also are dealing with the training of teachers. They at National School Feeding Program, they have the Food Security and Nutrition Council, the Strategy for the Prevention of Chronic Malnutrition, design and local implementation of the National Program of School Feeding Program, school children weight and height baseline, food and nutritional education, capacity building for parents, menus for school feeding, food security and nutrition projects, and healthy schools strategy. Please, the next one. So the interinstitutional coordination deals with national information and international cooperation, educational community. At local and municipality level, we deal with educational supervisor, and the system of national education program, the district coordinator. We also do in the program partnerships with government entities, community leaders, and food and security nutritional councils, as I was mentioned before, these COCO SANs. The goals are to propose culturally relevant school feeding menus. Parents 3,000 parents strengthened on topics regarding food security and nutrition. One campaign for cleaning and safe water use for municipalities and institutions. We are also promoting at least one school project in each school, with participation of all actors that we have mentioned before, involvement, and a national baseline of school children to collect weight and height. This is, as we have mentioned, since we have a lot of chronic malnutrition, we have at some schools overweight children that may cause these problems at a later age. And we also expect the 100%, the total participation in food security and nutrition councils at community levels in COCO SANs and CODESAN at the municipal level and district level. We also are dealing with institutions sensitized on healthy food consumption. These pedagogical school gardens to be established, learning communities and food security topics, departmental health schools commission being established as well, the total national strategy for the prevention of chronic malnutrition established at the community that we are working, and the actions needed from national healthy school strategy. This is it. I don't know if you have any questions.
So, Roberto, there are some questions in the message box. Why don't we move to Fidel's presentation, and you can read the questions, and after Fidel's finish, you can respond to those questions. But I want to thank you for the very clear explanation of the national programs. So let's go to Fidel to hear more about the details of the actual food for education program that SAVE is implementing based on the national school feeding guidelines.
Okay.
Fidel?
Can you, Fidel is going to take the control.
Excuse me? Roberto?
Yeah?
I thought Fidel was next to you. No?
Yeah, he's taking over.
Hey, good morning.
If we want, we can advance the slides for you as well, Fidel, as you like.
Okay, so I think I will try to do my own. Okay, I will talk in regards of the education and learning, the program idea from Save the Children Guatemala. As you all know, the education and learning depends on good nutrition and health, and that's why the idea program is focusing in those areas in our country. Okay. In 2014, Save the Children started with this program funded by USDA, and the idea was that to focus in the areas where Save the Children were been working for many years in Department of Quiché, which is one of the most deprived areas in Guatemala and with the highest rates of malnutrition. and the objective was to improve the literacy skills and adding health and dietary practices of school-age children using a combination of teacher training. So, I mean, the main focus of the program was to improve the quality of education and the skills of the kids in the school in reading, and this is a combination of interventions working together with children, with the teachers, and improving their skills for improving how the kids are learning how to read. But also it will be supported by community activities. I mean, encouraging parents and children within the school, but older children's. I mean, creating them the love for reading to the small kids, also conducting campaigns for reading, and also, I mean, creating an environment very well friendly with reading. I mean, this is a sort of combination of different measures that will, I mean, as a result, we expect that to increase the not only when at the end of the story, better abilities or skills for reading, but also to create love for reading as well. We, as I mentioned before, we were focused in the area of Quiché. In the beginning, we were working only in what we call the Ixil Triangle, but then we expand the program to another municipalities, and currently we are in 6 municipalities working with our program. Okay. As I started to mention before, the project has some components. What is the improved quality of literacy instruction, and these measures are literacy boost, teacher training. We produce with the advice, in agreement with the Ministry of Education, education materials. We have in every school community book banks. And we already started with the libraries in the main municipalities, working together with the mayors of these municipalities. And we also conduct some community reading activities in every school. The other component was the increase of access to preventive health interventions. Promoting healthy behaviors and washing hands, and this is complemented with the other component of the project that we think, for instance, improving the installations on water and sanitation, and the hygiene of the places where the food is prepared. We also provide with support of USDA school meals for more than 40,000 students, which are prepared by mothers and in a kind of shift where they arrive to the schools early, and they prepare the food for the kids every day. But also with coordination with the Ministry of Health as well. There is a provision of micronutrients, and there is a deworming medication for every kid in the area. And we do conduct food preparation and safe storage and training in all these schools. The aim is to reduce short-term hunger and increase the access to food. As I mentioned before, the school meals are prepared in 5 types of food produced by products donated by USDA. And the Ministry of Education complement this donation with a fund which is provided by the Ministry of Education that they call the Gratuity Fund, and that they use in the schools this fund to purchase items that complement the school meals. This is you can see now the figures of the school-age children that are already beneficiaries of the program. Um, I mean, the community is also engaged. I mean, bringing 3 logs per week to school in order to prepare the food, and some kind of like tomatoes, onions, or things like that, which are part of the things that are normally within these communities. And the mothers donate their time to cook as well. This is a description of how they are organized to that. More or less 5 to 8 mothers cook based on the number of students enrolled, and mother works shift with one group cooking and the other preparing beans every week. As I want to stress that the program has a strong coordination with either MOH and Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education, and this is very important because teachers are really motivated to participate because they have the support from the high-level authorities in the Ministry of Education. There is also important this coordination with municipalities, as I mentioned before. They are they are willing to provide the installations for these libraries that we are already opening, and we were last week just with the Vice Minister of Education in the inauguration of a couple of these libraries, and there is a motivation from the municipality to allow these spaces for kids to access to these books. Oops, I can you? Okay, sir. Within the school, the IDEA program has distributed, more than 2,000 water filters in 274 schools. We also, create infrastructure projects for more than 23,000 students and include sanitary facilities and washing stations, kitchens, and warehouses. And we also gave to more than 40,000 kids personal hygiene kits, including, toothbrushes and all things like that. Complementing that, we also, conduct training on topics such as water usage, hygiene, infrastructure quality, and those are part of our manuals that the MOE is also including within the curricula, and this is part of the sustainability component of this kind of interventions. There is also a very important participation of community leaders and school governments, and parents and teachers are really engaged in this project. Last year and this year as well, there was this International School Meals Day. The schools were engaged in preparing and kind of celebrating this day and conducting different activities. That I'm showing you these photographs here. Okay. There were drama prepared by boys and girls, and there were parade within the municipalities and schools, and presentations related with locally produced food products and story poems and many other things within these communities last year. Can you pass the next, because I'm not willing to do that. Okay. We think that there is a great opportunity now because there is a new law to make the school meals as part of the national budget. Now the school meal is depends on the availability of funds for a specific fund within the budget, and it is not assured by now that every kid will have a meal in the first day of the school. Because now this law is imminent to be approved by the Congress. We were supporting a committee which has been preparing recommendations for the law in order to include all those components that Roberto has already mentioned, and the law is expected to be approved in a month. By mid-April, that's what the Ministry of Education is expecting to be approved by the Congress. With this law, sustainability of these actions will be assured, because it will be the necessary funds every year in order to conduct these activities as part of this comprehensive program, because it's not only a fund for a school meal, but it's a fund for conducting all these activities that Roberto has mentioned, including training of teachers, the engagement of communities, as well as the food. We are not alone in this effort. We are working together with PCI and CRS in this small committee, which is what we call a mesa or table of support of the initiative. Okay. Move forward. Can you move forward? Can you move forward the next one, please? Okay. No. Can you move forward? Alicia?
Okay.
The next.
Fidel.
Yes.
I think that was it. Okay. Thanks very much. It's exciting to hear about the new school meal law, and we are doing this presentation today, March 15, because it is International School Meal Day. So it's good to hear about the new law. There are several questions, and we do have 11 minutes left. So I do want to kind of go back and look at the questions that were asked earlier. Okay. And since there are several participants who are just online on the phone and they don't have access to the actual Skype for messaging, I'm going to summarize some of the questions. First, there's a question about the fact that the programming is actually similar to the school health and nutrition framework for FRESH, that this national school policy, was that something that was designed, or it just happened to be the same 4 pillars? That was one question. I think we can say the FRESH framework is a nice framework for making sure we have policies, education, and services, and the environment to have effective programming. And it sounds like the national school meals policy is in the same vein. So, Roberto, I don't know if you want to talk about whether the national school policy, health school meals policy, is based on that framework intentionally, or it just happened by chance?
No, it has, in the last 8 years, many plans have been implemented to stop chronic malnutrition. And one of the things that has been shown is that if we don't have this kind of interaction and coordination within these pillars, this is going to be isolated efforts and which give no results.
Roberto, can you speak? We were hearing you fine earlier, but just now it was harder. Can you speak closer to the speaker?
Yeah, I'm trying to get closer. Is that all right now?
This is good, yes.
Okay. As I was mentioning, there has been a lot of of work done through how getting involved in different and get articulated with different stakeholders and different actors should be done in order to have a better impact. As some of you have asked how we have done decreasing chronic malnutrition prevalence, we haven't been so good at it. In the last height census for school children, we found that 8% of chronic malnutrition in school children have been achieved. But there is a lot of doubts because many children are no longer going to school, so there is a lot of dropouts. So and we don't see that the former programs have been successful. We know that this program that we have we just presented goes from 2016 to 2020 because that is going to be the government period that they are launching this project, this program. So we still don't have results or outcomes measured, but just this program, and we have just taken the chance that this allows us to provide local mechanisms and all the knowledge that Save the Children has had for quite a long time to introduce this within this program to show the effect and the impact at the end of the program.
So Roberto, so you're answering questions about the impact of this program, which actually goes back to a question from Lindsay. What would be the, we understand that currently we don't have the impact yet, but what would be the measurement of outputs and outcomes for the government that would consider it being successful?
Well, the government expects to have children with adequate weight for height measured, since as I told you, our chronic malnutrition rate is very high, the prevalence is very high, so shorter children tend to be overweighted sometimes. But in the micronutrient status, they are anemic. And so the two main measurements that they will do is anemia prevalence and also adequate weight for height measurements.
Great. So this actually leads to the next question. What would be the national, you mentioned the nutritional surveillance system. Is this part of that? Can you speak more about the nutritional surveillance system?
This was stated in the program document. So we are providing some tools for to the government to do this kind of measurements, to have a Minister of Education staff trained, and to get some of these facilities to the schools that we are implementing the project. But as a whole, as a national program, they are still building on these items. They are not developed so far.
So, what are we doing to help that process being supported or being developed? What are some of the pieces? You mentioned training.
Yeah, we're going to train the Minister of Health staff and provide some materials to have the iron hits measurement, blood iron hits measurement.
So we're actually training directly some of the tools that we're using for this particular project for the Ministry of Health and Education to do nutritional surveillance in the future.
Yeah, so we will provide these inputs to the Minister of Education and to the Minister of Health, as part of this program.
Great. And then there are two other questions I want to wrap up with. One, I think you mentioned about Doug McCall was saying that the sustainability really is dependent on the cooperation between the different ministries and different sectors. And the question is about how are we getting the ministers to work together? I think you talked a little bit about that, but if you can elaborate a little bit more. And the next question about, do you expect, as you're already getting local food donations, do you expect that to increase as we move forward, as again, part of the sustainability?
Actually, we are doing this in different levels. At local level, we are within this community-based organizations called COCOSAN, which means Community Councils for Food Security and Nutrition. We are providing them, building with them the capacities for growing nutritional food at the school gardens, but also they will be challenged to do those gardens at home. So this is going to give them some of the sustainability that we are seeking for. But also we are working at a national law that will ask the provision of more investment on school meals from the government. Up to now, we have about 25 cents dollar for each school children per day, and we are trying the government to increase that investment for $1 per children per day. And we are working also in this national bill that we hope to be passed soon. They are in the Congress in the last reading process, and we are working with our advocacy team to have this law as soon as possible, where this investment can be done. So we are working at local level in increasing food production, but also working at national level, pushing the government to invest more on the school feeding program.
Great. I think there's a lot of discussion going on the message board as well, but we have run out of time. I wanted to thank Roberto and Fidel and Ingrid and for this very interesting session. I feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions, but we're in the learning process from the project in Guatemala, and we will be posting this session at schoolsandhealth.org website. We post all our fresh webinars on this website for future reference if you want to share with other people, or if you want to see the message board on the side. If there are further questions, please reach out to us, and we will try to send the messages to either Fidel, Roberto, or Ingrid. I want to thank all the speakers for, again, an interesting session, and then remind people that next month we will be hosting another webinar. Franco from our Partnership for Child Development will be sending out a notice, and it will most likely be April 17th about malaria treatment and malaria control in schools, since Malaria Day is in April. So again, thanks to everybody. Keep an eye out for the notice about the recording of this session and the notice about the upcoming session. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.